Superintendent of a hospital was having a tough time dealing with the egoistic, snobbish surgeon. You know, these private hospitals, they give everything to their doctors, they give all the facilities, they give them all the privileges and perks, support system. But still, when it comes to running the show, the surgeons call the shots. You know, they are always in charge. And that makes it very difficult to negotiate with. That's very difficult to negotiate with. And this medical superintendent of a particular hospital was having a very tough time dealing with a particular surgeon. Now when he couldn't had it anymore, he reached out to the CEO who oversees the chain of hospitals, right? So he reached out to him and he described the situation to him. So he gave him a smile because he was having a similar situation at each of the hospitals, right? And this CEO was an experienced guy, he was a very seasoned guy, and he had put in a lot of work in developing this chain of hospitals, and he had even won the best CEO in the industry award. So he listened to him. And the very next day, he went to visit the surgeon at his home. And he spent a lot of time with him. And most of the time that he spent with him, the surgeon kept talking about his dog. He kept talking about his dog. And he could see that pictures of his dog were all hung up over the walls. And when he mentioned about the dog and how much he loved him and how much the dog loved him, his eyes really sparkled. You know, he was so animated talking about his dog. And he showed him all the things that the dog did, some medals, some photographs, and all those things. And he really thanked him for visiting, for coming over, the CEO coming over the doctor's place, and they had a very good time with the son. And before leaving, the CEO asked this surgeon, how frequently the medical superintendent sees you? Does he meet you at the hospital? He says that he never meets us, we have to go to see him. It's we who request meeting him. Okay. Has he ever visited you at home? He said, I don't remember, perhaps once, I guess. The very next day, he spoke to the medical superintendent and he asked him, how frequently do you see him at the hospital? He says, we usually have our monthly meetings. Oh, okay. And have you ever visited him at home? He said, yes, I did once. And he asked, what's his dog's name? And he was speechless because he didn't know this. The MS didn't even know that the surgeon had a dog. And this is what made the CEO understand the whole thing. The MS had never thought about the surgeon as a human being. He just looked at him as someone to manage, someone who is giving him tough time, someone who is snobbish, someone who is egoistic, someone perhaps who needs to be eliminated. And therefore, there was no warmth in the relationship. Friends, small things makes big differences. All the leaders have been known to invest personal time in understanding, in knowing their subordinates. Napoleon Bonaparte, it is said about Napoleon Bonaparte that Napoleon Bonaparte knew each of his officers by their names. He knew how many kids they had. He knew that which battle, which officer fought with him in which battle, and what happened, what he did. He invested so much time in knowing that. Almost all the great leaders are known for this quality. Almost all of them are known for this quality. Knowing as many people as they can by their names, knowing some personal details about them. Because leadership is all about connection. It's all about building bridges. Look at yourself. Ask yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, ask yourself today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much personal rapport you have with your subordinates. Think about it. Give an